Trae. Come on, it's the day with Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with Trae.
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peaks that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Welcome, y'all, to the Day with Trae. Grand Rising to you all. I am your host, Trae Holiday. I get to welcome you to a feel-good Friday as we close out our Taproot coverage from A Raisin in the Sun. Today, I'm so excited for the guest who's in the building. We got the director, Bretteney, Miss Brett, in the building, y'all. I'm so excited that she is here joining me so we can learn more about her vision and how she put it together to make it come to life for all of us who are there in the audience to see it. So I'm so grateful that she's here. But y'all, I'm grateful y'all are here. Y'all, vibing with me throughout the week means so much to me. And of course, when you share this show right here, you're helping us grow. Go ahead and take the moment to share this show with folks who you feel could benefit from our daily dose of dopeness we work to give you here on The Day with Trae. And if you can't watch our show, we always got you covered because you can listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network and The Day with Trae. Y'all find me there. Well, before I get into it with Miss Brett, I'm going to tell y'all something. This has been a week of just one all-star after another. And to be honest, that's nothing more than a reflection of what our community truly is. When you step out and become a part of community, learn folks, get to know people, build relationships, network, make something real with other people, you actually experience that too. And I talked about it earlier in the week, but I didn't know I was going to be so profoundly impacted by all of the guests this week. So I just want to take a moment to thank everyone who has said, you know what, I'll go on The Day with Trae. I want to share my story because it is because of you that we exist. It's also because of you watching that we exist, right? We need to have spaces where we can share authentic and organic stories that are our own without the need for specific edits and, we can't say that, we got to cut this out. No, just come as you are. That's what this is about. And this week, y'all, the reason why y'all hear this from me, because it be off the top of the dome, okay? And the truth is that this week I was just impacted by all the phenomenal guests we had this week. So I just want to give them all a shout out. And everybody who has stepped in the Black Media Matter studios to be interviewed by me or one of the guest hosts of The Day with Trae, because y'all are really helping this show grow. And it's beautiful to hear folks out there tell us to keep doing our thing, man. Keep going, keep growing. That's really what this is about. Organic growth for me is something that I'm experiencing on my Instagram page. And many of you have been like, how you all have 10,000 followers? Honey, baby, let me tell you, okay? That is like an active job. Like you really have to be on it all the time. And that's not where I always choose to be, because being in community with folks face to face in person is so real for me. It's how I grew up. It's what I know. And I embrace the new technology. Don't get me wrong. Right? I got the Instagram page and I do love to share with all of those folks on there as well. But there's something so special about really being in community, feeling those relationships, experiencing the growth of mentorships, people who have poured into me over the years that I get to now see as a full-grown adult. And they tell me, girl, you're doing your thing. There's something so special about that. It's a true spark in me that I want to spark in you. So if you're somebody out there who's looking for that kind of connection, I just encourage you to step outside, get to know people, show who you really are. And especially for so many of you who are now calling the Pacific Northwest home, maybe you came from somewhere else and you're like, I don't know about this place. Trust me, we love you too. You get embraced just like anybody else. And I am going to refute the notion of the Seattle freeze. I grew up here and I didn't know nothing about all that. We come from warm spirit because really it's all about the love and care that's been poured into us over the years. That's how so many of us grew up. And I have to work at it for my sons to experience it in this day and age. But trust me, I do that work. And they have their crew and they have their village of love. And that's what I want all of us to have. So step out, become a part of a village of love so that you can love on others as they love on you. Well, after this short break, up next, we got Miss Brett in the building, y'all. I get to talk to the director herself about this phenomenal production of A Raisin in the Sun at Taproot Theatre. You definitely don't want to miss this one. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Getting the scholarship really changed the conversation. It went from, no, I can do school in my free time and make it work, to I could only focus on school and I can be the best I can be every single day. I can soak up everything. I can read before class and make sure I'm not just learning enough to pass a test. Like, I could really pour all my time into school. That's what having a Seattle College Foundation scholarship did for me.
Empowering the community one connection at a time. ConnectWA is your partner in finding the support you need. Download the app today and experience the difference that a connected community can make. Learn more at eec-wa.org/connectwa-app.
Truth Talks is the hottest streaming show on TV. Catch all the truths about pop culture to politics and today's biggest
Why
stars.
tiptoe through life?
Monday through Friday, live at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and again at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific on Fox Soul.
My hair is definitely unique in the rodeo industry, and not a lot of girls wear their natural hairstyle. And since I do, it makes it a lot harder to find equipment that fits my head the right way. When I speak about being unique, that's what I mean is, why should we have to change our hairstyle for safety maybe? Why can't they create something for us to be ourselves in and still be safe on the trails? You don't have to change the way you look because you're beautiful the way you are.
Ready to be intentional with your spending? Whether you're gifting it or using it for yourself, the Buy Black card allows you to shop at many different Black-owned businesses across the greater Seattle area, like Love a Latte, Dramer Ice Cream, Motis Beauty Supply, Pizza by Ruffin, The Spa House by Queen Care, and so many more. You can see the full list of participating businesses when you sign up for your Buy Black card at intentionalist.com. And thanks to our friends at BECU, you'll save 20% when you load your card. Spend like it matters with the Buy Black card.
Welcome back, y'all, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me right now, Miss Brett's in the building. Hey.
Hey, Trae, how you doing? Thank you so much
Amazing.
for having me here. I appreciate it.
Oh, I'm so grateful that you had the time in your busy schedule. Thank you for making the time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for doing what you do for our community and
Oh,
all that you've given to us. Your impact is great and mass, so thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is a special interview for me, and I'm so glad I get to wrap up the week with you. You are the director for A Raisin in the Sun, being put on by Taproot Theatre, and it's so phenomenal to watch you work. I gotta tell you, as a theater kid, I was so inspired by the likes of Felicia V. Loud, Justin Emeka, Kabibi Monet. I mean, there's so many names that I could name, but when I think of Black iconic theater, here. Now I'm adding Miss Brett to the list because I'm watching you and it's phenomenal. Give us a bit about that journey. What got you here today?
Ooh, you know, it's a wild journey. I started like most folks do, most of us do. I started acting in church. I gave my Easter speeches and did all of that. And my first acting coach, I like to say, was my mom. Acting was always something I kind of looked at it as like, I don't know if I could do that, let alone directing. I didn't get into directing until I was in grad school. And someone was like, we need you to do this. And I was like, me? And they were like, yes, you do it. And so doing it, I found my voice, but also being in other rooms and other spaces with great directors who were so giving and who were like, sit here and learn. And I was like, can I just be watching over your shoulder? And so for me, it kind of came about what rooms did I want to create that I felt were the easiest to collaborate and offer artist spaces to create. And so that's always my approach, right? What's a safe space where I can lift my artists up to be comfortable, to make their best work and to do their best work. So that's how directing came about for me. It was really just round the way, but then when I got it, I was like, oh, this makes sense. Oh, I got something to say. Oh, I got plenty to say. Oh, you want me to say something? Oh, I got it. Oh, let me create a space for people. How would I want to feel in this position? It's a gift. It's a gift.
Well, it's really special to watch because as I was talking yesterday with Miss Mona, the space you've created for young actors to really like not feel as though something is wrong. You were so clairvoyant about that from the gate. Yeah. And you were like, no, you tell mama, you tell me, we here for you. You tell this person. You gave them direct access to truly be authentic. And that's just something I don't always get to see. And so I'm really appreciative of it. But you're at Taproot Theatre, and Taproot has its own kind of roots and ways that it does things. Tell us more about the approach that Taproot takes for its productions.
Well, what we believe is we believe in people, and we believe in taking care of people to the best of our ability, the best we can do. And so I remember when I first came to Seattle, and Taproot was the first place I worked, and it was the first place where we started off with blessing. And I worked all over this country. I worked in Chicago, I worked in DC, I worked in Atlanta, I worked in North Carolina, and came back and I was like, we blessing before we get started in rehearsals? Where they do that? And I was like, okay, we do that at Taproot. And it's just a way to check in and a way to build community outside of the arts, right? Because we are people in the midst of doing what we do, right? So there's a whole life going on. Each and every one has something going on in their lives, right? Before they step foot into the room to do this process, to create. And for us, it matters who you are, right? And so how can we help take care of you? Because we know the more we can do that, the more it's easier to do this work, right? And then we're talking about A Raisin in the Sun. I'm asking everybody, top to bottom, one, to bring in their best, but to also be vulnerable in front of a lot of people who don't look like them, right? To share our stories, to uplift our stories. So for me, it was very important that we had a check-in, that we came in and I was like, I want to know how you are doing, not just because I'm asking, but because I care, right? It's going to contribute to how you're able to do this work. And then it's also about what do we need to know to keep you safe in this space? And that's everybody. And for a lot of people, like that's a lot. And I know a lot of folks in space with me like, do you really need to do that every day? And I'm like, yes. Because some days, some people are doing well, some people are doing great. And other days it's like, I've had a hard day, I'm here, but this is how I can show up. And for me as a director, I go, thank you for that. I know how I can respond. I know how I can direct you today. I know how we as a community can help lift you up today.
Yeah, you know, that's the kind of stuff for me that I was like, ooh, I don't know if I ever had that necessary, you know what I mean? Like I came in and it was like, I got to do the thing. And like, I know I got to do the thing. And I shout out to everybody who ever poured into me, but it's so great to see the evolution of approach. You know what I mean, too? Because as we learn more, we can apply those things to how we show up in space. But it's also, I always talk about this with, almost any cast member that I interview, it's creating a family. I mean, y'all are rehearsing, it is late night hours, y'all gotta get up and then do the thing on stage in front of people. And for something that is so telling of not just a time, but very particular about the Black family experience in ways that resonate to this very day. It is so, emotionally driven in that regard. So people got to show up in a certain way. But the family that's created, when you were casting this play, tell us what some of those nodes that you were really looking for in these characters.
I mean, we all know who these people are, right? I was born in Southside Chicago. So for me, it's like, I know Bobo.
Yeah.
You know, I know Ruth, I know Mama. Like, Mama is my grandmother, right? I know Walter Lee, that's my uncle. So I know these people. And so I was looking for artists who understood that the work we had to do to be as genuine and as truthful and as human as possible. The thing about this show is it is the human experience, right? And I wanted us to be unapologetically Black. I wanted us to be unapologetically who we are, right? Even in 1950s, even who we are today. And so creating a space and looking for people who were ready and willing to do that work was paramount for me. And I believe we found it because everybody showed up on day one ready to do it, including my 3 kings. So yeah.
I just love it too because, a Johnny and Channing and Blaze, who all played Travis Younger, y'all, they are already like cool as a fan together, the 3 of them, right? They doing harmonies and all that. And so I told their mom, I said, I just love your kids because I love when my son can connect with somebody who's on his wavelength. And it's not always easy as a young person because he's been like that. He's been a little bit, and I'm like, hey, are you sure you want that person to be your friend? Like, we have these kind of conversations, but the safe space and that family feel is real. And you did an amazing job with the casting. So when we think of the crew, I mean, you got a phenomenal crew. No one does this alone.
Yeah.
But you have a phenomenal crew that's also right there with you. And I really appreciated being able to see how you and the crew interact. Your relationship is on full display for us when we're in the rehearsals. How does it feel to have such a phenomenal, supportive crew that's there to make sure this story goes off without a hitch?
It is truly a village. It takes a village to do this work. I'm not one person on an island by myself. And I am so grateful for everyone who has taken part in this journey. And I mean, all the way from our crew, our stage management team, our behind the scenes crew, but even our creatives, our lighting designer, our costume designers. And when I came to them in our first production meeting and I was like, hey, we're gonna tell A Raisin in the Sun the way that Lorraine intended. And we're gonna go all the way there. And when they were like, okay, I'm on board. And I was like, great. And I wanted people who were fearless. And that extended from crew, creative team, all the way to my cast, right? And fearless about telling this story, right? And about bringing these characters to life, right? What was very important to me was hearing everybody's why it was important to tell this story today during this time. And those are the people that I wanted a part of this, because then they understand the impact, right? They understand the responsibility in this story. And like I said, that went all the way from me, cast, crew, all the way to our 3 boys who understand the importance of this show. Right.
It's clear too. It really is in the way that people step up to it, because that's what it's called of them. But also too, it's a reflective of your leadership too. I've seen that and witnessed it. And I've just been in the back, okay, I experience it through osmosis a bit. But it's a beautiful thing to see when you think of some of those kind of great moments for you throughout your journey. And then you get here, because most people don't know, how do you even get to become a director of a show like this? What does that process look like?
Yeah. And, for some, I think it's a more direct path. And I thank God every day that mine wasn't. That mine was a roundabout way of someone being like, no, I see this in you. You can do this. It's natural for you. Take the helm. And I'm going, okay, you sure? And they're like, yes. And so I think it takes time to build confidence, right? And I'm grateful for having my voice and nurturing my artistic voice and knowing that I have something to say, knowing that I can take charge and lead a room and lead a group of people. But it doesn't come naturally for everyone. And it doesn't come I didn't go to school directly to be a director. I went to school for acting. Before that, I went to school to study classical voice and psychology.
Wow.
So, it was not a direct path for me. But again, mentorship, village, people seeing it in me and people being like, I'm willing to sit here and teach you my ways and you can osmosis this thing through me. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I know what this is. But to get to direct A Raisin in the Sun, I'll be honest, I can't necessarily say that it was ever really on my radar. I just knew I wanted to be a part of this show in any way capacity. I would be a moving man. If someone said, hey, I'm doing this show, I would be a moving man. It's a masterpiece. It's a classic for a reason. It's these words, this text, it's timeless, right? So it is an honor and a privilege to be a part of this production, let alone to be a part of this group of people in this day and age, in this time. And the text is still just as important as it was in 1959. Today. So
it really is. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I just kudos. I get to give you your flowers and kudos because I know that this is, to wield all that it takes to keep the story authentic, to keep the culture of it real. And you talk about the audience not reflecting the cast, and you were upfront about that as well for the whole cast and crew. And it's beautiful because oftentimes we know that, we're smaller percentage here in the Pacific Northwest, but a show like this, it tells the story in such a way that everyone needs to hear it. And that's what I love about what you've done. So when we think about the reasons why people need to come and see this show, you know, why they need to be there and experience this and what you want them to walk away with, just look right there and let them know.
I want you all to come out to see this American classic, to see this American masterpiece, to see these compelling, vulnerable actors deliver day in and day out. I want you to come hear this text. What we wanted to do and what we wanted to accomplish, what we wanted our audience to feel like was that you all were a part and extension of this living room and of this family in these tight, cramped quarters. And even if you are not familiar, you cannot recognize this walk of life, something about this story you will be able to connect with. And if you're not able to connect, you can learn. Our hope, our goal, and I'm including Lorraine in this in the hour, was to start conversation. So come join us in community, come join us in dialogue, come join us in A Raisin in the Sun. We welcome you.
Y'all are
Thank you.
Miss Brett, I can't thank you enough. And any time for any production, anything, the Day with Trae is here for you, for real.
Thank
From
you
the bottom
so
of my
much.
heart.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you.
Wow. Y'all, I don't even know what to say because this week was just that great. I get to wrap it up right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Getting the scholarship really changed the conversation. It went from, no, I can do school in my free time and make it work, to I could only focus on school and I can be the best I can be every single day. I can soak up everything. I can read before class and make sure I'm not just learning enough to pass a test. Like, I could really pour all my time into school. That's what having a Seattle College Foundation scholarship did for me.
My hair is definitely unique in the rodeo industry, and not a lot of girls wear their natural hairstyle. And since I do, it makes it a lot harder to find equipment that fits my head the right way. When I speak about being unique, that's what I mean is, why should we have to change our hairstyle for safety maybe? Why can't they create something for us to be ourselves in and still be safe on the trails? You don't have to change the way you look because you're beautiful the way you are.
Here on Back to Besa, it's always been important to me that we uplift stories from across the region, and that no matter where you live in the nation, you never have to miss a moment of the show as we continue to highlight the beauty, excellence, and resilience of our communities across the Pacific Northwest. Why? Because representation matters. So no matter where you live, be it the Central District or Centralia, Portland or Pullman, or anywhere across the country, I encourage you to join me on this Back to Besa journey by downloading the free Fox Local app on your phone or smart TV as we continue to elevate the very best in our communities. Empowering the community one connection at a time. ConnectWA is your partner in finding the support you need. Download the app today and experience the difference that a connected community can make. Learn more at eec-wa.org/connectwa-app.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Huge shout out to my guest today, Miss Brett. I just call her Miss Brett, okay? But huge shout out to her for her vision, her curation of community that you get to experience when you come and see the show A Raisin in the Sun. You know, there's a real specific reason to end with Miss Mona and Miss Brett at the end of the week, because I really wanted y'all to get a double dose of experiences, not only from cast, but also the vision that it takes to bring this to life. When we think of iconic shows, oftentimes we think replicas. And I love when it's not a replica, when it is so nuanced in ways that only this cast can do. That's what this show does. And I'm telling you, from someone who has been a part of A Raisin in the Sun many times, starting like as a young gung-ho stage theater. I was so excited to be managing, you know, that stage. And it was just so special to me. And of course, this is special because my 11-year-old is in it, y'all, right? So my connection to it is so real, but it's been something that I've been sitting back during these weeks of rehearsals and just absorbing how his experience is allowing him to thrive for real in like a way that's, you know, every parent wants for their child, every guardian wants for any young person that they are over, right? Like you want that. You want them to find that path. So I'm forever grateful for the entire cast and crew at Taproot for A Raisin in the Sun. And this particular production, y'all, is one you will not be disappointed by. I can guarantee you that, because there is something so special about being in the audience and feeling the energy that's coming from that stage. So I encourage you to get your tickets today. Thanks so much for being with me this week, y'all. You know I'll be back with you next week. Until Monday at 11 a.m. Peace.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.